Hello and welcome everybody to the Stay in Your Lane podcast with Devontae. How's it going? What is everybody up to? Yo, it is, what's today? Man, today's already the 22nd. It is already the 22nd of January. Almost to February. I mean, after the holidays, things just kind of kick off and get going pretty quick. Yo, I don't know if anybody caught football yesterday. I think the Eagles kicked the crap out of they played the Giants. They didn't play the Giants. Who the Eagles played? I forgot. I know the Eagles won, and so did Kansas City. So, it is Sunday. Ready for the boys? I don't know how y'all feeling about the boys, but I'm ready. I am on my way to Salt Lake City, Utah. Man, y'all missed out on this load. It had 6 stops. It actually went pretty smooth, and I was able to kind of rock through it real easy, yeah. So the reason why I'm doing this podcast tonight is because it is 18 degrees and we are driving on ice. Yes, I think we even got all kind of warnings and everything, black ice, everything, but I can handle it. At least I hope I can handle it. So I brought you guys along with me just in case something goes wrong. You guys can be there for all of the action. And I don't know if anyone caught the video. What do you call the videos? The video podcast over on YouTube. I got my media equipment, most of it. So, but please, kind of. So, I got a bunch of excuses, but I did get the microphone and I did get the media equipment that I needed. It's just that I haven't figured out the settings to take out the background noise from the truck. So it's hard for me to record while I'm driving because of the background noise. I mean, it's almost like it sounds really good, but it's almost like this headphone. It almost sounds the same. Now, when I'm sitting still or if I'm doing a podcast somewhere that's semi-quiet, I mean, it's amazing. It was great. The sound is just amazing. So I'm gonna try and figure out those settings. So like I told you guys in the first couple episodes, this is all new. Yo, a couple of y'all watched my videos. I was shocked. I don't know who those people were that felt this content to be interesting, but they did watch it. Yeah, I had like 4 or 5 views, and I was like, oh man, that's crazy. Like, who wants to sit up here and watch the highway? But I mean, the model, the business model made sense because there's just people out there who, just want something to look at. So y'all can see what I'm seeing. You can get the bird's eye view, and this is insane because there's snow drifts all over the road, and I can barely see. But we're gonna get it done. It's nothing I haven't been through before. We're just gonna take it slow, take it easy, be careful, and we're gonna get through this together. So if you had the chance to get over to the YouTube channel and see the podcast, you will see that I went back and I was kind of talking to some of the new prospects, some of the new drivers. And I had a lot of people, a lot of guys that I kind of run across, people that I've known. They always ask me about truck driving, and they're all like, I want to go to truck driving school, and I want to do what you do, and it seems like it's a great life. And I was just kind of physical fitness, that kind of stuff. And I was able to kind of shorten that down into a 28-minute podcast. So, I think it came out really well. I need to get some type of, I think I need to get like a background, some kind of background screen that I can just kind of take with me, because my background was kind of lame. And it was actually a really nice place that I was at. They had like a fitness room and they had a trucker's lounge, but the football game, playoffs were on and people were in there, and I didn't want to disturb those people. So I went into the fitness room and there was really no one in there. And so I was able to kind of have the room to myself, but I was just like, okay, in the future, this may not always be the case. And I didn't want to do it in my truck. Like, I would have did the podcast in my truck if I had to, but I didn't really, want to. Because like I told you guys in the first video, I want to get into these places and actually bring some people in. And I probably could have. There was this one guy who was like, oh, I'm not watching the game. He seemed really interested in what I was doing. I had all the equipment out. And I probably could have talked to him, but right now I'm still kind of doing sound testing and just trying to get stuff together. Like I found out that the platform that I'm using for the podcast is having some technical issues as far as me uploading content via phone, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to make an episode and I was just gonna get the audio from the actual podcast and upload it there on the platform, but I couldn't. It wouldn't let me. It was acting stupid. So I'm gonna have to actually go in and record an episode. But he said that I could use a desktop and hold on, it's getting sketchy here. See, this is ice, okay? This is not snow. It looks like snow, but it's not. It's ice, and usually I won't drive in ice. I'm like, I will drive in snow all day, but ice I won't drive in. It's 14 degrees. When you get below 20, you have a real serious issue. And we're at 14 right now, and that looks like snow, but like I said, it's not snow. It's ice, and ice is some nasty stuff. Hold on. Excuse me. I get my allergies in the wintertime. I'm so ass backwards. I get allergies in the wintertime. It's the craziest thing. But so excuse my allergies. But yeah, so this load actually delivers at 9 o'clock, and I'm running about an hour before schedule. I should be running a lot earlier than that, but I was kind of taking my time. I wasn't rushing. I didn't take into consideration that I would be running into this ice. This it's not a storm. This is normal for this part of the country. Like, it's normal. So I didn't think that I would be running into this. I'm glad the speed limit changed. I hope it registers on Google. So I didn't get to go into, when I was doing the podcast at TA, I didn't get to go into some of the more in-depth stuff that I wanted to, There was a lot of things that I wanted to kind of, touch on, some subjects that I wanted to touch on, but I was trying to make it quick because, people are like, they're like squirrels. They have short attention spans, and what I don't want to happen is people to become uninterested in my content and decide that, hey, I'm just gonna turn this video off, like a TikTok video or something. I want people to actually be informed and be interested in what I'm talking about, because I hope that something that I say can help the next person. So one of the main points that I was talking about was Finances. I was just kind of telling the guys that, leave some money at home. When you go home, when you're out on the road for 3 to 4 weeks, I mean, if you have a safe environment, somewhere where you can lock your stuff up, you don't want nobody to take your stuff. But if you do have a safe environment, you have a safe or a lock on your door, or just people that you trust at your house, leave some money at home. And I was saying that because it's always good to have a safety net. Not to mention, if your money's at home, you can't spend it. And so, put that money back when you get home. Don't mess with it. Then you come out on the road for 3 or 4 weeks, and you get back, put some more. You can save money like that. And these are things that I wish that, let me turn this down because I'm pretty sure that the audio is just horrible. Man, I hope you guys are still with me. But yeah, put some money back. But the main thing that I wanted to focus on, and really kind of what I wanted to talk about today, was the mental health aspect of this job. And that is something that I really feel like needs to be covered in a course before people get into truck driving, because they don't realize the toll that this takes on you. It takes you away from your family. You are essentially going to prison. And I know that sounds funny, but it's actually a real thing. You are essentially going to prison. And especially if you're a solo driver, you're going to be by yourself. If you're a team driver, you're going to be with another person. You're going to have a cellmate. And you are essentially in a 6x6 cell. And you'll say, oh, well, you can go wherever you want. You can do whatever you want to do. And that's not the case. Because when you're in this truck, yes, you can go where you want to go. You can do what you want to do if you have the money. Anytime you leave this vehicle, you're going to spend money. If you want to go to the movies, okay, well, you got to catch a cab, you got to catch an Uber. That's going to cost you money. You got to get back. That's going to cost you money. You got to pay for the movie. You got to pay for the food. If you want to get a hotel, you got to pay for the movie. You got to pay for the hotel. If you want to do anything, you have to pay for it. So a lot of the times we really don't do that much except for stay in the truck. So it takes a toll on you. And what I was saying was a good thing to do is to be a creator. Do something productive. Take some online classes. Watch some how-to videos. Learn. Don't just sit up there and watch TV, watch movies, watch music videos and stuff. I went through that phase, and I got to the point where I was like, I'm not getting anything out of this. This is just killing time. When I can actually be learning something. I can watch some training videos on how to do what I love to do. So once I started doing that, I really started feeling better, because I got to a low point. I got really, really low. Just from the fact is, it's kind of like, especially with family now, it's not everybody, but it's like out of sight, out of mind. When you first start driving, yeah, you're talking to people, they're excited, you're traveling the country, you're going here, you're going there, you're doing this for the first couple of years, it's exciting. But then slowly people start to drop off, and it's not because they don't care about you, it's not because they don't love you, it's just because you're not there. You're not, in their face. And that is just natural. That's with anything. That's with anybody. Out of sight, out of mind. And that's what happens. And so when you get to year 4, 5, 6, you will start to see that your contact list or your communication list has kind of dropped. And for me, it got all the way down to like 0. I mean, at one point I was even having trouble with my own immediate family. Like, it's just because it's hard. It's hard. You get into a dark space. You can potentially get into a really dark space, and then your friends and stuff, they just automatically assume that you have all this money. So when you do show up, they're kind of expecting you to foot the bill for everything. They want to hang out, and they feel like, oh, they have a regular job, so you got the money, so they want you to take care of it. And at first it's cool. Like, for instance, back when I first became an owner operator, I was making pretty good money. I was making pretty good money, and the first thing I wanted to do was treat my friends. I wanted to treat my friends. I wanted to take them places, and I don't remember if I'm telling stories on this platform or if that's on the podcast. I think that's on this platform. Yeah, so that was when I first became an owner operator. I took all of my friends to Vegas for the first time, and I didn't go in my truck. We actually flew out there, and I ordered a limo. I got a limousine to pick us up from the house. I bought plane tickets for everybody. I got the hotel for everybody. I mean, I just pretty much paid for everything, and it was cool. But they really didn't have the money that I did, so it was kind of load bearing on me, because it's kind of like, okay, especially on a trip like Las Vegas. Vegas is one of those things. If everybody puts in equally, it can be awesome. It can be amazing. But if one person is paying for everything, it kind of like, it takes away from the luster of it, because it's like they don't have spending money. I can pay for the plane tickets, I can pay for the hotel, but if you don't have spending money, if you don't have money to play, then it's kind of like, okay, now I have to pay for you to play. But since it was my idea to take everybody, the burden is kind of on me. So that was kind of what I was dealing with when we went to Vegas for the first time. I mean, we had fun, but it was just, I had to pay for the rental car. And then when we got there, we did our thing, and then we all kind of got kind of drunk and got into it towards the end of the trip. And then we winded up, somebody lost their ID, and then wound up missing our flight. And then, they don't have any money, so I'm pissed off. But yeah, I can't leave my friends in Vegas, so I have to book another flight, and that's extra money that I didn't know I was gonna have to spend. And then it's just a whole thing. So what I could say, and then what I didn't realize was things weren't going to always be good. And I thought, I was excited. I thought that, oh, things are good now. This is just the way that they're gonna be, and that's not the case. If you get into a situation where you start making good money, and it's just like, you start making money that you never had before, put it back. Put that money back. Your friends they're gonna love you regardless. You don't have to. Sorry, I'm checking to see if the road is closed, but it's not. This is I-80. I-80's a beast. Hey, they will close I-80 in a heartbeat. They will put down gates and make you get off of this joint for real. So you really gotta watch out for that, because once they shut it down, if they shut it down, there's no telling how long it'll be before they open it back up. So I'm trying to keep an eye out for that. I got about 6 hours to go, and anyway. So yeah, if you get into a situation where you start making money that you've never had before, just kind of hold off on splurging until you have that nest egg, until you have that, that cushion. And then once you get that cushion, do something small. You don't have to take everybody to Vegas. No, take everybody to the movies. Take everybody out to the bar. You're close to home. You can still have a good time. And when everybody gets mad at each other, everybody can go home and go their separate ways and be okay. But when you are 3-4 states away and you got to catch flights, you kind of have to, suck it up and deal with it. But it was really cool. I did have a good time when we went to Vegas. Don't get me wrong. I really wish I would have went with really wish that I would have went with people that were more like into what I'm into. Like, I had a good time with them. They were awesome. Like, it was great. But it was just, I don't know. I just think that I kind of picked the wrong trip for that group of people. Like, the next time I do something with them, they're more of, they're more of like the sand dunes. You know what I'm saying? Like, go rent ATVs and camp. They're more like that, not necessarily go to Vegas and act an ass. So next time I do something, I'm gonna do something like that. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I rented a Camaro when I got out there, and I was supposed to get a drop top. Camaro, but they didn't have the convertible. I had pre-ordered. I had reserved the convertible like early, like months in advance. And of course, when I got there, they didn't have it, and they were like, "Oh, well, you can get any car you want." So my immature mind, I'm like, "Well, give me the hardtop Camaro. I'll take that." When I shouldn't have done that. What I should have done was gotten the Tahoe. If you go to Vegas, don't get the sports car. Get the Tahoe. Get the SUV. If they give you an option to get whatever car you want, get the SUV. Because what I quickly realized is when you meet people, you will not have room for them. And it was so cramped and it was so tight in that car. It was a nice car, but there wasn't no room for anything. So next time that happens, next time I go to Vegas and I get a car, I'm definitely getting an SUV. Because when you meet people, people have room to do stuff. And but yeah, I didn't get a chance to catch any shows. It was more of, they just wanted to walk the strip. And I had been to Vegas like several times before. I told one of the Vegas stories, the Rags to Riches story, over on the Anchor podcast. If you go over there and check that out, it's a really great story. It's a really, really great story, and I had a lot of fun that night from what I can remember of it. So if you get a chance, head over there and check it out. It's my mom really enjoyed it, and she was like, "Did that really happen?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it really happened. It was great. It was great." So, that's just what I'm getting at. Another topic I was talking about was the physical health aspect of becoming a truck driver. A lot of people wait too. They eat fast food and they eat junk food and they eat all this crap 2, 3, 4 years in, and it gets to the point where your stomach can't tolerate it anymore, and then you want to start eating healthy and doing the exercise and stuff. Ooh, excuse me, I am sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make it. I mean, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Definitely 2 o'clock in the morning, and I am exhausted. I've been running and gunning since I left California. Like, for real, I haven't had a day off since I left California. It's real. But yeah, I'm just saying that it's best if you're gonna go to truck driving school to kind of start off with some good habits, especially good eating habits, because it will catch up to you. And I've picked up some bad habits. I drink a lot of soda. I do try and keep water. One thing I didn't get to go into was the reason why it's more convenient to drink soda and drink juice than it is to drink water. Because if you drink a bottle of water, you're going to have to pee, and you're probably going to have to pee within the next hour or 2. So if you're flushing full of water, you're going to be stopping every hour having to pee. Soda doesn't have that effect on you, but it does have consequences if you don't balance it out. Soda will give you kidney stones and will give you a UTI. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So you have to kind of find a happy balance of, juice, water, soda, milk. Be careful with milk. I don't know if I told you guys the story about my trainer. I had one trainer when I first started truck driving. He used to drink warm milk. Like, for real, he would keep milk like right by his seat, and he would drink this milk. And I knew it was warm because it was warm in the truck. So he didn't keep it in a refrigerator or anything. We didn't have a refrigerator. He kept it right by his seat. So it's like, okay, well, you're drinking this milk, but then he would get like diarrhea. And it was like, okay, what kind of nutritional benefits can you be getting from this warm milk that makes you have diarrhea, have to go to the bathroom all the time? Like, you keep stopping all the time to go to the bathroom. Stop drinking the milk, man. Ha! Yo, it was crazy, and I don't think I ever asked him about it, but I really wanted to. I really like, dude, what is your deal with this milk, man? Maybe he has some kind of situational circumstance that, you know, the milk was doing something for him. I don't know, but it was driving me crazy. Because this man, oh man, okay, I promise, I'm gonna stop yawning. I know y'all don't want to hear. Y'all aren't listening to me anyway. Y'all are watching the road. Keep your eyes on the road. Turn the volume down, sit back and watch the road. But yeah, so I was just talking about the nutritional benefits of starting early. Don't wait until you gotta go to the doctor because you got intestinal problems to start to start eating healthy, and because that's what happened to me, man. I got to a point where I couldn't eat fast food. It would give me insane stomach cramps, you know. Like, I couldn't eat fast food. Like, I had to eat salad, vegetables, fruit. That was the only thing my stomach could tolerate. And I had to find that happy balance. I had to find a happy medium between it. So I'm going to eat 3 to 4, maybe even 5 salads a week. And then I may have a burger. And restaurants are kind of in that category of fast food. They really are, because you have to think about it. With the fast food, they're using, you know, processed stuff, and they're cooking it quickly. They do the same thing with the restaurant. It's just the only thing is, a fast food restaurant may take 3 to 5 minutes to get your food, and a restaurant may take 10 to 15 minutes to get your food. You know, so they're both cooking processed stuff. So just because you're going to a restaurant and eating does not necessarily mean that it's more healthy. Especially restaurants at truck stops. They're two peas in the pod. They're two peas in the same pod. So you have to make sure you're getting those vegetables in. You know, you're getting that fruit in. You're getting that cranberry juice in. Get that stuff in, and you know, start that early. And then what else did I talk about? Oh, the sleep cycle. Yes, I went through the whole sleep cycle deal where you know, if you want to become a truck driver, you're not going to be on that getting up at 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, going to bed at 10, 11, 12 at night. You're not going to do that anymore. You're going to switch over to a 24-hour cycle. And that 24-hour cycle is gonna change you. It's gonna change you as a person, because now, and I'm glad that I get to go into detail about this, because I didn't get to do it in the podcast. I went over the 24-hour sleep cycle and the fact that you need 8 hours of sleep, but it affects your family, because what happens is you stay out and you're on a 24-hour sleep cycle, which means you can go to sleep at 1 in the afternoon, you can go to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, it just depends on your load. But when you get home, people aren't used to that. So you know, people are like, oh my God, you're up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like you're wide awake, like what the hell? And you know, it kind of weirds them out, and you're like, this is normal to me. It's normal for me to stay up 16 hours overnight and then randomly go to bed at a random time, and they don't understand that. It's hard for people to comprehend that. They know that you're a truck driver. It just looks weird when you do it. When everybody else in the house is sleeping and you're up, like it's just a natural deal. People get kind of like, you know, off put by that. So that's the other thing. Your sleep cycle changes, and I hate that. I really do. I really situations like when you have to get up at 10 o'clock at night and start driving. All right, so let's do the math on that. You get up at 10 o'clock at night and start driving, and you drive until 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You drive until 7 in the morning, okay? Sleeping at night is not the same as sleeping during the daytime. I don't care how dark you make it. I don't care if you wear a blindfold. When you sleep during the daytime, you will not get as many hours of sleep as you do at night. When you go to sleep at night, you can sleep from 7 to 10 hours. Easy, no problem. When you go to sleep in the daytime, when you go to sleep in the morning, you're going to get 5 hours. It's going to be 5 hours. And you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, oh man, I still got, now you're going to be up for the whole day. And then you have, you go to sleep at, I need to go to sleep. That's what I need to do. You go to sleep at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. You're going to wake up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I promise you, you will, unless you're just, a massive sleeper, which, there are exceptions to the rule. There are people, but I would say 95% of us are kind of the same. So, you're going to wake up at 2 o'clock, you're going to wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now you're up. So then you're up from 2 to, and then you got to start driving at 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're up for 8 hours. Then you got to turn around and drive for another 8 to 10 hours. Well, 16, 17, 18. That's another. So now you've been up for 20 hours. You have been up for 20 hours. There's only 24 hours in the day. That means the most sleep that you're going to be able to get is 4 to 5 hours. It just throws you all out of whack. And a perfect example of that is today. Like with me, I stopped driving this morning at I stopped. My load delivered at 9 o'clock in the morning. I was out of there by 10:45, and I was beat because I didn't get a chance to sleep the night before. I mean, I took a couple cat naps, but it wasn't like real sleep. So I got up at 10:45, and then I went and I had to get some miles in because I was still like 500 or 600 miles away. I had to get some miles in, and when I stopped, I couldn't sleep. I had other stuff to do. I had to post content. I had to do something productive, and so next thing you know, it's time for me to start driving again. And I had 45 minutes before it was time for me to start driving, and I just laid down. Which I know I shouldn't have done, but I was like, I'm gonna just kind of rest my eyes. Next thing you know, I had been asleep for an hour, Next thing you know, I had been asleep for an hour and 45 minutes. I dozed off for an hour and 45 minutes, and I thought I was late, so I jumped up, and I kind of took off. And that's a real dangerous thing to do, because if you jump up and take off, you're not processing everything. You're in a daze. Your brain is like trying to wake up, but you're tired. So, okay, I'll put it to you like this. If you sleep for 8 hours and you wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, you're going to wake up. Some people wake up groggy, some people wake up ready to go, but your brain is rested. So you're in fast track boot mode. You're going to boot up quick, It may take you an hour, may take you 30 minutes, or, some people 10, 15 minutes, you're up, you're firing on all cylinders. Now, when you've been up all day and you just dozed off for an hour and a half, you're not booting up that quick. Your brain is confused because it's like, hey, man, I was just going to sleep and now you want me to wake up? See, here's where the energy drinks come into play, and the 5-hour energies, because at this point, you really just can't boot up because your brain is not going to let you, because you're tired. You're tired. So this is when you go get the energy drink or the coffee. Some people do coffee. I do energy drinks. The coffee's not strong enough for me anymore, so I do energy drinks. In bad scenarios, especially like tonight, I do the 5-hour energy drinks because they're instant and they don't make you have to pee, especially if you're running late. So okay, so now you're up. okay, you're up and you got that instant gratification. You're up and your brain's firing. You forced your brain to wake up and go. All right, that's all well and fine. Now, mind you, you're already down. You're already down on sleep. Look at that. You see that black ice? That's black ice right there. That's what you got to watch out for. You see how it looks shiny like that? That's ice. And it is very, very slippery. All right. So, yeah, so, okay. All right. So you make it. Say you make it. And you're running and gunning. You're getting the job done. Okay. Eventually, you're going to crash. Okay. You're going to crash. And 5-hour energy is really good. They really get close to 5 hours before you crash. You usually do get really, really close to 5 hours before the intense train wreck comes. Okay, so now I've been borrowing sleep for the last 2 to 3 days. Look at that. That is ice, yo. That is ice. It is, but it's a little warmer. It's 27 degrees where I'm at right now, so it's not too bad, but it's still dangerous. I still have to be careful. So once you can get to a point where energy drinks won't work anymore, you can get to a point where 5-hour energy drinks won't work anymore, and that's about where I'm at. Lucky for me, I'm gonna take a day off. I'm gonna have to because my body is tired. My brain is tired. I've been borrowing sleep. And what's going to happen is I'm going to wind up sleeping for a whole day. So if I don't post anything tomorrow and Monday, it's because I was sleeping. I'm trying to catch up on sleep. And, you can sleep. I'll probably wind up sleeping anywhere from 12 to 16 hours. So that's what I was saying in the podcast. You can borrow sleep, but your body is going to get that time back. You have a certain amount of sleep that your body requires over the course of 5 to 7 days, and you can break it up and split it up and take naps and do this, do that, however you want to, but your body is going to get that required amount of sleep. And if you force yourself to stay up, your body will shut down on you. And that's where a lot of accidents happen, because people force their bodies to stay up, and then after a while they get to the point where their body just shuts down. And that's what falling asleep while you're driving comes into play, because you're basically, your brain is just done. It's just toast, and it's gonna get that sleep. It's gonna get that sleep that you need, whether you want to or not. Your body is in control. You are not. You can control your body up to a certain point, but at a certain point, you're gonna have problems. And I was just telling people the best thing you can do when that starts to happen, if you get to a point where you can't, if you start falling asleep while you're driving, it's time to pull over and stop. I have fallen asleep while I was driving, and I've been really blessed that I haven't had an accident, because I've really dozed off and woke up and was like, and even though it was a split second, that's all it takes. All it takes is a split second to really, really do some damage. And at that point, it will be your fault. And if you hurt somebody, it will be your fault. There's no excuse for that, because federal law dictates that you cannot be reprimanded or retaliated against or any of that nasty stuff for telling dispatch that you're tired, telling your company that you're tired and you cannot drive. Even if that load is late, even if, and I've never had a company force me to do something. If I tell them, look, I'm tired, they're going to say, pull over, go to sleep, get some rest. And that has really been a good thing about truck driving. Now, you may have to pay a late fee, you may have to pay a rescheduling fee, you may get stuck, you may have to reschedule and not have a load. And, it'll be on you, but, you won't get in trouble. You're not going to get in trouble because you were late, because you were tired. However, if you would have planned out your trip accordingly and got the sleep that you needed and not stayed up doing other stuff, you probably would have enough to make that load on time. So I just encourage you guys, whoever's listening, I don't know who's listening, but get that rest that you need. You can borrow sleep, but you're gonna pay it back. I think the last point I talked about was family life, and I'm not gonna go into too much detail on that. That's gonna be a whole story for another deal. But relationships are really hard to keep out here on the road, and it's not so much because you're not a nice person or you're not attractive or people don't like you. It just kind of goes back to out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, you can talk on the phone, but what happens when your schedule doesn't match up with your kid's schedule, with your significant other's schedule? There's a lot of time there that is just kind of up in the air because you're doing your thing and they're doing theirs. They're living their life and you're living yours. So I just encourage you guys to really, if this is something that you want to get into, find somebody who's doing it. Get on the truck with them. Ride around. I brought my good friend Jackson on the truck with me, my best friend, and I brought him on the truck for about a month. And after he rode with me, at first he wanted to be a truck driver, but after he rode with me for that month, I think that he was like, nah, this is not for me. Because every time I tried to get him to go to school, he was just like, no, I think I'm going to do something else. And I think it was because I brought him out here, and I think if I would have rode on the truck with somebody and I would have got to see, I probably wouldn't have done it either. It's a lot being away from home. It's definitely a lot. And but yeah, so that's pretty much it for this particular episode. I know I didn't tell you guys a super exciting story, or something that stimulates the mind or whatever, but I really wanted to get this podcast out there just so you guys can see some of the weather and see how it is out here. It's getting better. They got a lot of salt down on the roads, so the roads are kind of clearing up, which is good. Temperature's going up, which is good. So I'm gonna sign off. I'm glad that you guys were able to join me today. I hope you come back. And I don't know who watched my videos. Maybe it was my mom watching them over and over again. I don't know. But I'm glad somebody's watching them. So here is another one for you. I'm going to upload it. It should be up sometime later today. So for January the 22nd, this is Devontae, and I am telling you to stay in your lane. Adios.